listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Tell me the steps. The integration EIB integration outbound. Int 1001 underscore Shalini. Ik first outbound. Now tell me. Oh, I am not able to see. Can you go to run? Run now, right? Ah, I took a point. Here is the specify values, right? Worker type and gender. When I change it to determine value at runtime. When you see when you select determine value at runtime. Here it means you have to pass here something, right? It is expecting some calculated field, which will be calculated field or some delivered field. For example, here if you can click, it will show you some of the fields which it is expecting. There is no field it is expecting. For me, it's like nothing is come showing. How can I put like it? Because specify value, I'm able to see that worker and the other detail. But when I select that option, it's nothing is visible. Because you are specifying nothing. Let me check the report first. Alright. From say, did you add this worker types and gender prompt directly in the prompt tab? No gender is there in the main column. Oh, gender is there and this one worker types. I think it is there in the main tab too. Let me just, if we feel like remove that worker type, at least it should show me for the gender, right? Basically cool. Basically, these three are coming from workers for SCMan reporting. And then gender you have added in the filter criteria. From there it is coming. Now you are saying when you are launching this integration, when you pass the value, then you are getting the output. But when you are not passing the value, then you're not getting the output. Like when I select that runtime 1 option, then I was not able to get that value over there. First of all, understand the difference between you. Know these two. They specify value. They specify value. That means you want to put some value here. Let's say worker type. There are two types, employee and contingent worker. Let's say there are two types. You are putting one value, whether it's a here. If you select the specify, it gives you options. employee or contingent worker, two options, right? But when you pass here, like determine value at runtime, and here if you're not passing, it doesn't make sense. First of all, it doesn't make sense. Basically, determine value at runtime is only used when you need to evaluate during runtime. You're not passing here. What exactly this will evaluate? This will evaluate nothing, right? But I should see some value to put it right. Like when I click this one, right? When I put here like worker or something, nothing is showing me up first. You are putting value. That's because of this field. Let's say, you are creating a calculated field. Let's say current data time. You would have entered one field date, higher date, and you would have given higher date greater than the prompt. In the report, if you would have given here in the filter higher date greater than the prompt user, the value from the user for the value, then you would have seen one more field. And then for date field, if you would have selected a determined value at runtime, you would have used current date system, date today date. Those are the fields which are available in Workday. That is happening because of the fields which you have used. If you want to use this determined value at runtime, what I would say you use date. You put one criteria for higher date and then you try. That means this determined value at runtime works for the current data only. No, the condition should be like, see here, there are two worker types. Got it? This field is not able to compare anything. I'll try with that. You try with date and still, if you face issues, just let me know. The main funder here is there are just two values, right? Specify value. You understood when you select a specify value, then you have to enter whatever you will enter. That will come. If that is a text field, you can enter the strings here. If that is a single instance or multi-instance field, then you can select here. When you will click, then it will give you options. And when you select determine value at runtime, that means you are evaluating something during runtime. There is something which is not fixed. You are comparing worker types with the value which will be evaluated here. When you say current date is something which will be evaluated during runtime. Let's say integration is running today. Then current date has to fit today's date. Something that it's not only date. There could be many other fields as well where we can use, but for this particular case that cannot be used. You try with the dates and then we'll say. I think we'll try to make sure you're all ready. Let's say this is your report and there is first name. In first name, when you check the security. In security, view security, you did not find anything. You're saying that field is empty and basically you can see all users. Alright. It will be all users see and configurable security policy, all users by default. Whatever profile will be configured in Workday, that profile will be able to see this first name for any user. If this means you don't need to add any security, this is whatever. If it's nothing is visible for security party, that means all that fields are automatically available in that domain. Yes, here you will be able to see all users, all you just miss, whatever you just will be created, they will be able to access, and there is no security policy. In this case for first name, you don't need to add any domain, you can go with the next one. Now, here I think active terminated. One more thing I had to show here when you created IS. And when you launch the integration, you are able to see the data right, and that severity level is mentioned in that. Sorry, severity level where it's in the in the domain right. There are things like application asset classifications. Are they right? Application classification severity, a problem. I need to go there. I just took a screenshot. You go ahead. I'll tell you in the middle. The another thing which I wanted to tell you is see, as of now you understood how to get the security for the fields which you have used in report. Now, let's say you have created one calculated field and that calculated field is containing many other workday fields. For example, this one. I have opened this field. When you open this field, you will see there are two fields you have used from the system. One is date of birth, another is hire date. You have two fields from the system. These are the delivered fields which you have used in calculated field to derive the logic. Now here, if you see there is one additional column added. Earlier you were able to see data from security policy domain functional areas, permitted security group. But when I open the calculated field, there is one extra field you are able to see. That is report field. This report field contains whatever fields you are using in the calculated field. It will define the security for every field, each and every field. Here in this calculated field to deliver fields are used date of birth and hire date to access date of birth. This domain should be. You should be able to. I sure should be having access to this domain. For date of birth, this is the required security domain policy. And for hire date, there are multiple security policy. You can just pick anyone. Basically, to access this calculated field, you need two security policies, one date of birth, person date of birth, and then any one of you know this. For example, current staffing information. You need both the security earlier. Viewer, when you were able to see for any fields, I think you tried for many fields yesterday. There what you are doing is you have. When you were able to see multiple security policies, then you selected whichever is having the more number of groups assigned. You just, pulled a security policy and added that in ICE. Now, in case of calculated field, you need to select. You need to select security policy in similar way, but you have to select security policy for each and every field. For date of birth, separate security policy. You have to add for hire date. You have to add a separate security policy. This is clear, right? In case of calculated will, what you need to do, and I think shall any you already did because I can see this calculated. Fill in your report, and if you are able to get the data via ICE, then you have provided enough information, enough security policy. I believe that's how you are able to access Ganesh. Please don't mind. Can you please repeat this concept one more time? I don't know some problems. Your voice was breaking for me. No worries. Basically, see, let's say in this report there are many fields. And let me just, this is a delivered field. When you will check the view security of delivered field, you will be able to see from Secure Security Policy. There will be just 4 columns. One column for a column for security policy domain, functional areas, and permitted security group. Here, in this case, if you need to select security domain policy for hire date, you can pick anyone. You can pick anyone. These are the security policies. You can pick anyone. Generally, we follow like whichever is having more number of security groups. We use that security policy basically in here. In this case, you can add this security domain policy in your issue. This is when you are checking the security for delivered fields. Now, when you check the security for calculated field in calculated field, it could be you have added a lot of delivered fields. It could be, for example, this calculated field. In this calculated field, two delivered fields are used. When you open the calculated field, you will see there is one additional column. This report field column will not be there for delivered will see directly it is starting of security policy. But in calculated field, you are getting one more column that is report field. This report field will tell like for this field to access this field. What other security policies are required to access this field? What are the security policies are required to access this calculated field? You need to provide security for both the healthcare fields. For whatever number of fields you have used in calculated field, you need to find the security policy for all of those fields to access those that calculated field. You need to add security policy for all the fields that you have used in calculated field here. In this case, basically, there are 2 fields right for date of birth. This is security policy. This is something you need to add for hire date. There is another security policy. You need to select any other security policy and you need to provide both the security policy permissions in the ISO. Then only ISO will be able to access this calculated field. You got it right. Yes, I go. Thank you. Is it similar to the dependent and dependents, ages or something like that? Ganesh, even for this, same thing applicable to there itself. Also write like if we want to provide the security policy for the dependent's age or something, I mean relation or something, we have to provide for the dependent also. Yes, you have to provide for dependent and then you have to provide for date of birth. This is a related business object. See, the main funder is whatever you have used in your calculated field. Whether it's a data source, whether it's a primary business object, whether it's a related business object, calculated field, delivered fields, fields in filter, fields in prompt, whatever you have used in this report, you have to find the security for each and every object and you need to add those security policy in the ICE. This is the main thing. But yesterday, what happened? I completed everything, but when I tried to add the each and every column, by the time I'm adding the second column, it's disappearing. Again, I'm trying, it's almost 7 or 8 times. It happened I did only for the first 1 or 2 columns and then I finished it. I just want to see how it ends. I ended up with like that, but I only added 2 columns. But now I have to add everything. Maybe when the tenant is good, you can add and you can check. See sometimes what will happen. See this first name, last name. These are the fields which is accessed by all the user security group. You don't need to ask security domain. It could happen. Like, for first name, last name, you don't need to add any kind of security domain policy in the ICU. wherever the field is accessible by all the users. You don't need to add any security. Security policy. Maybe here you have used multiple fields, but you don't need to, check for every say here. In this case, hire date plus 28 day, hire date plus 2 year, hire date plus 5. All these fields are using one hire date field only. You already know all these calculated fields are using just one delivered field, that is hire date. In this case, you just apply for one calculated field and you can just ignore other two. See, in the worst case, what will happen? Let's say you have added 10 fields, you provide a security for 9 fields, and you did not provide security for 1 field. First of all, you will not be able to launch the integration. Second, when you will launch the integration, you will not be able to see the data or it may give you error as well. Like this field is not accessible via the user. Then you understand like you have missed out something. You can try these things. You add 10 fields. You don't provide a security. Let's say you create one report. In that report, you add gender field. For gender, there is a separate security domain policy and you don't add that security domain policy in the issue and just check what is happening when you are trying to assign that issue to the report. What is happening when you are assigning that issue to the integration? What is happening when you are running the integration in the output file? What is happening? These three things you just check, then you will understand everything. Is it possible to add later once I done? Created the issue. Yes, anytime. Basically, if you need to add, let's say you have created one security group. Yesterday, I think I created one security group for which lucky I created right. I did the another one as well. What you need to do is let's say you have created everything. Now you missed to add one security group and security policy. Then how will you add? Basically, what you can do is you can just go to the security group. Here, you open your security group which you have created. This one I created yesterday, lucky one. Click here. It will show you what are all the permissions you have given with the view and modify access. Here you can see all the permissions, whatever you have given now. Now if you want to add or remove, simply you just go to related action again. Security group, maintain domain permission for security group. You will be able to add or remove, and once you add or remove, then you need to activate the pending security policy changes to enable those security changes and this pending one. We are not giving any name of these names, right? Just we are pending security policy changes for the Jace of what's her name. It's good, Jacqueline. We are not giving any is as I mean lucky or something, right? How come it connected to this? See, everything is tracked. You are log, see it's simple. When see you are calling from your mobile, then it's simple. When you will check the call logs automatically, it will be visible like you are calling, right? Here, you have logged it in here, right? Whatever activities you will do in Workday. Everything will be tracked and audited with your name. Even in this security group yesterday I created, then I added or removed whatever I did. If I go to audit it, everything will be maintained. You can just go to audit in audit trail. You will be able to see who has created and see. I have not given anywhere any name, right? Like this is something see here, who has created by user. It is coming. Everything will be audited because yesterday when I tried to do that, I already see the comment in the comment. It's done by Shalini. I also did mine. I was surprising like how many people can do on the same because we are all working on under her profile, right? This is. This is one of the, you can say, advantage of the cloud. See, earlier what was happening, if you have 10 systems, softwares are being installed in on those systems. If one is using, other will not be able to use a lot of them. A lot of issues were there, right? Now we are simplifying in the real world. Now the technology is growing. Now everyone is just working on one portal. This portal, you understand, in real time production, if you if your account is having if your company is having 50,000 workers, at least 1,000, 2,000, or 10,000 people are accessing Workday at the same time and doing the same thing, right? This is actually clause based in a product, and these are the features actually. I mean, it could see generally what we do is when you activate pending security policy changes, then we generally use to provide username because Salini, maybe there are multiple Salini in the system, but for each and every Salini the username will be unique. Uh-huh. No. What I'm asking is, Ganesh, when I try to activate the pending security policy changes, do we have to give a small comment, right? Just test. You gave test yesterday, like that. When I did that, by the time I saw I got a comment session, but on the top line I saw a comment with Shalini name, like test underscore Shalini, something like that. That's where I got. Oh, because I was creating my exactly same timer before me. You did that. I can able to see that. That is what my question is. How many people we are working? We can do everybody can. We are all doing. We are using the same it, right? And that's why it is happening. Yes, I understand, Shalini. What my question is, we are not giving any particular whether even we are in the working in the same ed. We are all creating different, a lucky Shalini or something we are creating like that. But especially for the pending security policy changes, we are not giving any names. We are just give what it is. See, I mean that will show you what security changes you did in see here. Maybe we are using same profile leave date. Now let's say you join project. Many people are working. My profile is different Ganesh. My profile, let's say my username is Ganesh underscore 01. Your name is Lakshmi and Lucky underscore 01. Then Salini underscore 01. Let's say we are working at the same time on multiple integration, and for that one we are creating multiple security groups. And in that security group, we are adding multiple security policies. Now, if any one of us, if we are working in parallel, if any one of us will go to activate pending security policy changes, there it's not asking like for which person you need to activate. It will show you all the security changes, whatever I am doing, whatever you are doing, whatever Salini is doing. That is what. That's exactly what I'm expecting there. It will show you, but you don't need to activate in real time in real production. You are not going to activate basically there. You will consult with that person. Like you are making some security changes. It is coming now. I have to activate the security. Let's basically, I'm not sure whether it is giving you to select like what are all the security policies to update and all, but it will show you everything in real time in production, which it will be very rare scenario, Lakshmi, to be honest, like you will face in this situation. But whenever you face, you need to coordinate with that person and you need to tell him, like, I am trying to activate pending security policy changes, but I am able to see your changes also. Should I activate or should I just ignore? Got it. I'm understanding what you know. There we don't have option to give any name, but you will see everyone's here as we are using, we are sharing the profile with the same username. You won't be able to distinguish, but in real time you will be able to distinguish. Now I got it. And another thing, the transfer, the ownership. We will only give one person right. We cannot give to multiple people to the ownership. There can be just one owner in any object in Workday, there can be just one owner, only one ownership. And I did the outbound like the two too. I mean, yesterday I couldn't able to download the XML file right. Last night. I did that after getting the access from support team. But even I am getting the text file only instead of XML. I may know the reason. Uh, did you? In the file name, did you mention .smell? Yes, did you? You did you? You are getting your file name .smell, but you are getting text format text file. Yes, did you use custom report transformation? Yes, I did that. You can just drag and drop to the web browser. No, 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 the thing is here. See, actually use custom report transformation. Basically, you have already transformed smell into text format. That's why you are getting up. Text data. If you want a chipmunk smell, you just remove custom report transformation. I have three different. Only smell and only text and only both of them. I did three of them yesterday, Ganesh. Can you please open my no? No, both of them. How is it possible? Both of them either is XML or XText. Both of them in the sense. I converted into XML to text. That's what I'm talking about. I'll tell you which one. To int lucky. Just simply open that. That's a small one. Like it's only see the file name is text.test.xml here. No, no. See this file name. This file name actually doesn't matter much. The thing is this transformation, whatever you have used, even here you have given test.xml, but here you have used transformation right. XML data is being transformed. Whenever you will open file, you will see the text file. If you want to see the XML, you don't need to use transformation. You just simply remove the transformation. This transformation is converting your XML into text format. I have to use none in this transformation type. Got it? I understand now for XML also. I just added new custom report transformation. Maybe that is the reason. For the first time on I just tried. I want to see how it happens in the new custom report instead of none. Maybe that is the reason I'll try it today. You can create another IB in that IB in transformation type. Just select none. Configure the same thing. And then just try to download the XML you told. You told for the first time we can use the new custom report transformation right. That's the first time I said see, when you create I in the learning part, the first time you don't use transformation. The first integration then, which I did not use any transformation. The second time when I started, basically, when you are configuring transformation, then the first time you use custom new custom report transformation, because now you want to transform the data. The first step is don't transform the data. That will be your first step seconds. And when you will transform the data, use new custom repo transformation. You configure that and then you transform the data. And the third is custom transformation, which we will discuss later when we will talk about XSLT. Any further question from anyone? Are you able to visualize what ISO is doing in the system? Yes, after I did yesterday, when you are telling it's completely like a blank thing. When I try to do first, we have to do issue, then is to linking that creating for a security group. Adding to the security groups to that, then giving the authorization to another user. we are doing for this, we are creating the issue. Then I realized after completing that even in the project I can visualize that there actually you. Right now I'm getting error like while doing that. I'm just trying to like find out that I didn't launch it because the I get a schedule for the tomorrow because last night 12:30 or 12 o'clock I did. Maybe tomorrow it will. I want to see the you told when the schedule time arrives, then we can see the done by issue, right? I'm waiting for that. I think it's already done, which integration is a sexam issue. I can figure the schedule right. Maybe yours it will done, but what I created, I just kept Sencham. But by the time it's already Sencham, issue last night when I did. That's why the custom report calculated field. And when we started, learning Workday, then we discussed about the custom report calculated field. See, those are quite easy things. Some easily relatable because you were using the derived fields, delivered fields, and all those things. Right, see now gradually when you move to the security. Security is always tough, a little bit tough. Tough in the sense. See, basically you need to understand there are many objects in the system. Many people are working. Who is controlling what? Who is having access to see what kind of data? How exactly that is controlled? That is not very, simple thing in Workday. I think security is very simple, but I have seen other systems where the security is not a simple task. I mean, I think you understood now. Basically, I'm going to recap once more whatever we discussed yesterday, and today you will be able to relate and all. Basically, what happens? Let me open Paint, or better is Excel. Basically, in Workday there are many items, many items. For example, fails. This is the same. Security reports, task BP. BP means business process, then web services. Workday is having many items. These items are actually grouped together in one domain. These items are grouped under one domain which says the same security. Let's say we have 100 field, 20 reports, 10 tasks, 100 BPs, then 100 web services, out of which let's 5 field, 5 report, 5 tasks, 5 beep, 5 web services are sharing the same security. All those things will be grouped in domain. These items will be grouped in the domain. There will be multiple domain. Let's say domain 1, domain 2. There could be many domains. Domain 1 and domain 2. Let's say domain 1 is securing 10 fields, 2 tasks, 1 web service, 1 BP. This domain 1 is securing like that, and then domain 2 is also securing similar to that. Basically, this is one of the group. This domain 1 is group. That group means that group is containing 10 fields to task, 1 web service, 1 BP. All these things are stored as a not stored. You can say grouped as a domain 1. Now, these domains are secured under domain security policy. For each and every domain, there is domain security policy. Let's say here I'm giving domain security policy 1 and then domain security policy 2 for other domain. For each and every domain, there are security policies, domain security policies. There are a group of objects. Group of objects are categorized in domain, stored in a domain. Then this domain is secured by domain security policies, one domain security policy. 2. There could be many kind of domain security policies, and now this domain security policies will be added in security groups. This will be added in security groups. All this domain security, not all this. Basically, let's say I want to access all the objects under domain 1. Then I just need domain security policy 1 in this security group. Now, let's say if I want to access other fields and other reports from domain 2, then I need both the some domain security policy access, domain security policy 1 and domain security policy 2. Here, whatever number of domain security policy will be required to access the data in the system, we will be adding all those in the security groups. Once you added all the domain security policies in the security group, then this has to be assigned to the user profile, or you can say Workday account. Now let's say this security group is having just one domain security policy. Let's say here, we are giving first name, last name, and then gender, and here we are giving date of birth. Now visualize in this one. This domain is having first name, last name, gender. This domain is having date of birth. There are two domain security policy. This domain security policy is securing first name, last name, gender. Then this domain security policy is a policy securing date of birth. Now, if I want to access gender, then what domain security policy needs to be added in security group domain 1 and 2? Domain 1 and 2. You understood this right. Once we assign all those domain security policy to this security group, that means now this security group is ready to access all those objects from the system. This security group is ready to access all those objects from the system. Now, once this security group is able to access, if we assign this security group to any user account, let's say my profile, if this security group is added to my profile, then even I will be able to access this data, right? See right now, when you create a Workday account, it is a blank profile. This Workday account is not having any access. Now I have added the security group with this Workday account. Whatever domain security policy is added in the security group, this Workday account will, by default, will be able to log in. Why by default? Will be able to access the data, which is secured in those domain security policies. You got it right, and that is what we were creating here as a Workday account. We created issue as a security group. You created IST. Here you determine the domain security policies based on fields, and then you added all those domain security policies in IST. Then you added issue. You added security group in that issue. That issue will be able to access all the data for which security has been provided in. The data is actually secured under domain. Sorry, how the values are secured under domain. Fields are secured under domain using domain security policy. Then, when we create security group, what happens? Basically, we provide access to the fields or the objects which is secured under that domain. We are providing this access. We are providing the keys of these fields in this security group, and then we add a security group to the issue. Today, I think everything is interlinked. Yes, everything is entirely interlinked. And now issue is completed. Is security for secureable item completed? Domain security, we have discussed view, you modify, get and put, we discuss. I think you're clear there. Now the next thing which I need to show is business process security. Business process security. Have we discussed business process security? No, right? Yesterday we did not. Right now. Now you understood the data. Now let's say there is, in Workday there are many beeps. Let me show you how BP look like. I have shown you the integration BPs now. Let's see the real BPs. For example, let's say request time off. Or let's say in contingent worker. There is one BP in the contingent worker. Like this, there are many BPs in the system. I'm just opening this. In the contingent worker, BP is used to terminate contractors in the system. Is used to terminate contractors in the system. Now let's say if you want any data which is involved in ending the contract of the contractors. Basically, the contract is getting in date via this in the contingent worker PP. It's not a direct field. It's not a direct field. The data is involved when you start this process. Whenever you start this process, the data will be involved. Now you want to access this data from this business process whenever any contractor is ended. I just want to access the data which has been used in the contract. Then what you need to do is see the first of all this history. You just take a look and feel of business process. This is how business process looks in the business process. There is a step-by-step configuration. If you see a step step B, step C, a stepper is initiation, step B is action, where HUR partner is going to review the contingent worker in contract request. Then there are a boarding processor, then review user-based security, then manage business process for worker. All these steps are configured here. Basically, the first step will be initiation. Once this is completed, second step will be triggered. Second step will be completed. Third step will be triggered. There are a lot of data involved. See if the request is going to someone to review, definitely he is looking into some data, right? And that is only that person is reviewing. A lot of data will be involved in the business process. Now, if you want to access the data from the business process, or if you want to understand like who can approve, who can deny, who can, submit the request. Say this one is in contingent worker BP. Now, if you want to see who can actually start this BP, who can actually deny this BP, who can actually approve the request, who can deny the request, who can cancel the request, then who will be able to access the data from this business process. Then what you need to do is you open this BP. Just go to related action and this related action, just check business process policy. There will be one business process policy in business process policy. When you will click on view, then you will be able to see who can initiate this BP, who can view the data from BP. See here who can start the business process, who can initiate the business process. There are these many security groups where you can just start this business process. Then in the contingent worker web service, who can access data from web service? Who can? No, sorry, who can in the contingent contract using web service? There are also some security groups assigned to whatever security groups are assigned. Only this security group will be able to in contingent worker contract via web service. Then you will see who can do what actions in this business process. Who is going to review? Sorry, where is that? Yep, who is going to review? Who is going to manage then on this business process? Who will be able to access all the data? Who will be able to access only completed data? Who will be able to approve the request? Who will be able to cancel the request? then who will be able to deny the request or resign the request. Everywhere you will see the security groups are assigned in real world. Now you understood. It is just a visual, but in real world you understand in this way. Now let's say you are a contractor, you joined a company, APSI, and in that company you are a contractor. Someone definitely has initiated your contract profile creation, then only your profile is created, right? Basically, someone is doing. Who is that someone? That is something we control using this business process security policy, like who can initiate. Now, when you join, then after some days, you know you need to get terminated for your termination. Who will initiate your termination? That is something will be determined by this business process security policy. Who will terminate you once your termination request is raised? Who is going to approve that request? Once the request is approved, who will be able to see all those data? If the request doesn't need to be approved, if someone needs to cancel the request, then who are the person who is going to resend the request? All those things will be controlled via business process security policy. You can open any BP, and that API just go to related action, then business process policy, and then business process policy. Just view or edit. When you will view, you will be able to see like who can do what in this business process like this. There are many other business processes in Workday. I'm just showing you one of the business process. I think there are thousands of business process. Not sure the exact count, but there are too many business process in Workday. All those business processes are having a specific task. For example, this business process task is to terminate contractors in Workday. Did you understood what is business process and what is business process security policy? It's basically who can do what, who can see what, who can approve what. See if you are having any question. You just, any silly question or anything, whatever, you just, speak that Lakshmi Salini, or you are able to understand, should. I assume you're able to understand everything. No goodness, go on with your question. I'm good. No means you don't have any question or you're not understanding anything. Little bit difficult to understand what exactly is coming in your mind, where exactly you're struggling. That this and the contagious worker contract. This business processes itself. You're confused. Basically see the business process. There are multiple business or see to hire you in any company. There is one hire business process. To change your job details, personal information. There are other business process to hire contingent worker. There is one business process contract contingent worker, to terminate any contingent worker. We have one BP contingent worker. The job is BAT. The job of this business process are very specific. This person business process will be used in the company whenever there is a required to terminate any contractor. If any contractor, let's say if any contractor which will be required to be terminated in the system, then you can initiate this. What you can do is this is just a BP, right? Let me show you how it works. Let's say I just mentioned an contract contingent worker. This is the task. For this task, only this BP is there. Let's say I clicked on this and continue here. It is asking the worker. If I give any worker, it will start the process. Basically what I am showing you. Who can start this process here? I am able to see this in contingent worker contract here in the task, right? But in company, everyone will not be able to see the task here if I give any name. Like, for example, let's Loga McNell is not a contractor. Let's say if there is any contractor abs, if I give a B, C contractor name and click it will start termination. It will start terminating that employee from the system. who can start this termination. That is what we are discussing. It depends upon security in this part because she is having all the access. That's why she is able to see this, see everything. Is this process exactly? See, let's say you are a contractor and you are working in Workday. You will not be able to see this because you cannot terminate your own contract, right? Right? It depends on security. Here, I just give you one example, like who can initiate this now. Let's say you initiated this contingent worker, like you want to terminate Abhijit. When you will initiate it, that request has to be approved by someone, right? You cannot terminate anyone directly from the company. Otherwise, managers will keep terminating people, right? It doesn't happen like that. Basically, when managers start the termination, it goes for another level of approval. And for that process, someone is going to review. Then it will be approved by someone. Basically, in this business security policy, we are configuring that only who can initiate this request, who can approve this request, who can see the data from this request, who can cancel. Let's say you have started a termination for ABC employee, but the approver doesn't want to terminate that worker. There are some solid reasons for which approver doesn't want to. He wants to cancel. Now, who can cancel that request initiated? That is also something we are controlling using business process security policy. Now, are you able to visualize a little bit things? Any further question you have or you understood? I understand, Karuna. You speak very less. I'm unclear. Guys, cool. Basically, here now, let's say you are creating one inbound integration. And that inbound integration is used to terminate contractors in Workday when you will, if you will create an issue, then that issue should be having permission to start this contingent worker contract termination right. I mean that issue should be having access to this BP right. Then only that issue will be able to terminate worker in the system. Then in that case, what we will do is we will ask, see here you can see in contingent worker contract web service. Here you can add the ISK name. You can just go to edit and here you add ISK names. For example, I created Lucky. Lucky. You add now Lucky is able to terminate worker in Workday using web service. You have provided Lucky the permission to terminate contractors in Workday. Once you add or remove anything here, again you have to activate the pending security policy changes. Are you clear, guys? We don't need to add as isugensh. We only is now here. All these are security groups. Here you need to add security groups. Whatever security group you have created for that issue you have to add. Issue will be used in your reports, your integrations, there only, but you know the other places. If you want to give the security and all, then you have to use this as a security group for this one. Right now, I don't have any, hands-on and all. I just wanted to explain. I'm shopping here only the issues and ISGIS and BP, security policy. You explore all these things. I would say you explore this BP only. BP in contingent worker, or maybe you can explore it. But whenever you need to explore any BP, just always write BP colon. Then you type the BP name. You will be able to see the BP. And then you explore things issue ISK and this BP security policy. I am giving you one more day of time. You just practice whatever question you will be having. You just let me know. Let me know. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@upptalk.com.